Hello, everyone, and welcome back. And what's on tap for today? Well, guess what, folks? AOC says that Jesus is a fascist. That's right. She's talking about the Jesus ads during the Super Bowl and the Young Turks, who I affectionately call the Yellow Turkeys or their nom de plume, the Young Jerks. They also chimed in. We've got a clip of that entire video. We're going to get to all that in the next few seconds, but before we do so, we just want to let you know that you're watching the Dr. Nasir Shaikh Show. I'm your guest host for today. My name is Dr. Nasir. Like, share, and follow us. Hit that subscription button if you haven't already done so. Notification as well. Folks, let's get to that video right now and stick with me to the end of the video because we're going to be talking about the Pew Research Institute and how some of the allegations and the things that they're talking about in terms of where religion isn't really increasing in the minds of millennials or Gen X or whatever. I think Pew Research has got some different, let's just say a different spin on the matter, all right? So we're going to take a look at that, but let's get to that video right now. Now, I just want to know, how can you call that ad fascist? I mean, these people throw words around: racist, bigot, insurrectionist, fascist, misogynist. They just, the left, the progressives just love to throw that out there. And you know what, AOC? Continue doing the same thing. Eventually, no one's going to care anymore. Anyways, let's see what Ana and Cenk have to say.
You may have seen that commercial promoting Jesus during the Super Bowl over the weekend, of course. The people behind it, He Gets Us, Jesus ads, are the Christian group that, well, we'll get into them in just a moment and tell you about their tight relationship with pretty intolerant and bigoted people. But before we do, here is the commercial itself portraying something pretty different from the bigoted stuff that we'll discuss later.
Spots.
So if you watch those ads like in a vacuum, not knowing anything about the organization behind them or the kinds of policies they have promoted, it's an overwhelmingly positive message. You don't see anything negative about those ads. However, those Super Bowl ads, which cost He Gets Us $20 million, did receive strong backlash online, including from Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who simply tweeted this: "Something tells me Jesus would not spend millions of dollars on Super Bowl ads to make fascism look benign."
Now, let's just go with this here. Again, AOC, along with a bunch of other people, progressive and lefts, they all fit into this acronym that I've coined, which is called SIMMER, because they just like to simmer in this stuff, just like to let it fester and simmer. SIMR. It stands for stupid, idiotic, moronic, and retarded. Basically, that's what AOC is. She's saying Jesus would not spend millions of dollars to make fascism look benign. Yeah, let's throw out the F word now. There's the F bomb. If it's not the R bomb, right? If it's not the B word, bigotry, if it's not the R word, racist, if it's not the J6 word, insurrectionist, if it's not the M word, misogynist, if it's not, the F word, fascist, fascism, oh my.
And by their own description, He Gets Us is a nonprofit organization with the stated goal of helping people understand the authentic Jesus as he's depicted in the Bible, the Jesus of radical forgiveness, compassion, and love. But what they've promoted in the past really does go against that message. The problem is most people don't know that, and putting out an unnuanced tweet that compares the ads that we saw during the Super Bowl to fascism isn't gonna necessarily play well.
Okay, but there's twist after twist in this story.
Are there?
Yes, because Charlie Kirk also hates the ads. So AOC and Charlie Kirk agree the ads are bad. Okay, but for completely different reasons. Okay, and I think this is a very nuanced conversation. I love the ads. The reason behind the ads and what the organization is doing is a different question. But first, let's give you AOC and Charlie Kirk, and then we'll give you what the organization is actually doing.
I don't know what Charlie Kirk had to say.
No, I got you.
Okay, so AOC just tweeted that. Something tells me Jesus would not spend millions of dollars on Super Bowl ads to make fascism look benign. Can we stop using the fascism label on everything you dislike?
Yeah, this is not fascism, no. And by the way, there's potential big.
Hey, TYT, the Young Turks, you agree with my premise. All right, way to go. But we'll see if you hold to that, because I'm sure in future episodes and stuff, you're going to start calling things fascist anyways, okay? So for today, you're agreeing with me, but you'll flip-flop as you usually do. Anyways, let's continue.
Bigotry, et cetera, we'll talk about in a second.
Yep.
But I don't see how this is fascism at all, okay? So Charlie Kirk tweeted, the marketing group behind He Gets Us has done one of the worst services to Christianity in the modern era. The Green family are decent, wonderful people who have been taken for a ride by these woke tricksters. So sad. So wait, are they fascists or woke tricksters? I'm starting to get confused. So here's why the two different sides don't like it. The left wing doesn't like it because a lot of the money they raise then goes towards right-wing groups that take away our rights, right? The reason the right wing doesn't like them because they're showing a progressive Jesus, one that loves everyone. So Charlie Kirk's like, this is terrible. Remember, no, Jesus is all about hatred. Hate the immigrants, hate people that aren't like you, hate is awesome. Why are they showing a Jesus that loves people? Woke tricksters. Have you ever read the Bible? God, these guys are hilarious.
I don't know, Charlie. It might have to do with the fact that belief in religious institutions is at an all-time low. And it might have to do with the fact that young people especially are less likely to be interested in these religious organizations because of the hatred they preach, the hatred they represent, the hatred that you want them to represent so boldly in Super Bowl ads, apparently. Maybe this has to do with trying to recruit new parishioners, and it's real hard to do that when you display, some of the more nefarious things that have been funded by the organization behind these ads, right? So that's what AOC is referencing, and it's totally fine to reference that. But when you just put out a tweet in response to an ad that looks lovely, that most people don't know the details about behind the scenes, then it's gonna look crazy when you just put out this one sentence tweet.
Let me tell you something, Ana. I don't think anybody gives a crap about who's behind the scenes. Nobody really cares. Look, there's so many ads that are progressive and socialist and Marxist and liberal and leftist and whatever. And they're all funded by leftist organizations, dark money, George Soros and his ilk and his acolytes. And, we talk about it too, but you know what? In the end, nobody gives a crap. They really don't. We talk about it. It's good fodder. It's good within the political circles to talk about that and to say where that's it. I mean, yeah, okay, you want to know where the money is coming from, who the groups are, okay, that's fine. But in the end, it's the message of the advertisement, the message that's being displayed, and then how it's being perceived and received by the people that are, watching it or listening to it. That, in the end, is all that matters. If it gets the job done according to the people that put it out and they spent their money and they're happy with the results, that's all everybody cares about. For everybody else to be talking about, okay, who's in the background, who's dark, where's this dark money coming from? Money's being raised. So what? You're bringing up it as an issue, as we would probably bring it up as an issue if George Soros was behind some ads. Anyways, par for the course. Let's continue.
that compares it to fascism. Do you get what I'm saying?
Literally everyone I know that watched that ad was either liked it or loved it, right? So the ads are super effective. And if it's a trick, then let's point out that it's a trick. But don't, without even saying that it's a trick, to say those ads are fascist makes everybody who watched them, which is tons of people during the Super Bowl, go, wow, you are weirdo radical. Like, how is that fascist? That's telling you that Jesus was accepting. How could that be fascist? Look at those two, look at the kids hugging. Okay.
Right, if you look at that and you don't know anything else, you don't know about the organization behind it or whatever, that's all you see. And then you go on Twitter and you see AOC compare it to fascism. Like, how does she not know? Like, the biggest mistake anyone can make, whether you're in the news or in politics, is assuming that everyone knows what you know. Not everyone knows what you know, AOC. Like, what are you doing?
First of all, AOC doesn't know a damn thing. There's nothing up here. Nothing at all. I swear to God, if you basically pressed her nose or something, okay, you would hear air hissing out of the cranium. She's an airhead. She's a bubblehead. She doesn't know a damn thing unless people tell her what to say, what to do, what to write, how to say it, how to promote it. Plain and simple.
Okay, so let's actually get to the details here and what I think motivated her to put that tweet out. So last week, TYT did talk about this, and as JR had shared with you last Friday, He Gets Us is a subsidiary of the Servant Foundation, which is a Kansas-based charity, also known as the Signatory, that says it.
Ooh, the Servant Foundation. There's a nefarious organization, if you ever heard one, the Servant Foundation. Look at the way Ana is talking about the Servant Foundation.
Exists to inspire and facilitate revolutionary biblical generosity. But between 2018 and 2020, the Servant Foundation donated more than $50 million to the Alliance Defending Freedom, which is also a nonprofit that's led big policy fights over abortion and non-discrimination laws at the Supreme Court and in states around the country. The nonprofit is designated as an anti-LGBTQ plus hate group by the Southern Poverty Law Center.
Oh, wow. There's something, right? The Southern Poverty Law Center, these bigots, these racists, these people that are the hate group, the SPLC, one of the biggest hate groups, domestic terrorist groups, I would say, in the United States of America. And there you have it again, my friends. What do I say? If you're against abortion, if you're pro-life, oh, you're a nefarious group. You're against women. You're against women having autonomy over their bodies. You gave money. You actually, were fighting for the rights of the unborn. How cruel of you. Oh, you right-wing fascists.
Again, that is bad, obviously, but most people don't know that. So you have to explain it so you can have people understand why you're attacking the ads, which on the surface look lovely, right? Now, the Alliance Defending Freedom says it helped draft the 2018 Mississippi abortion law at the heart of last year's Supreme Court decision, the Dobbs decision, of course, which reversed Roe v. Wade. Now the Alliance is leading a new Supreme Court case arguing that businesses should be able to discriminate against LGBTQ plus customers. And as far as where He Gets Us gets their funding from, some of the money has come from billionaire David Green, the devout Christian co-founder of the arts and crafts chain Hobby Lobby. Green and Hobby Lobby fought the Obama administration's contraception mandate all the way to the Supreme Court, leading to a 2014 ruling finding that closely held corporations do not have to comply with the mandate if their owners voice religious objections. So that's the issue with the people behind the ad. That is what motivated the tweet coming from AOC. Now, Cenk, fill us in more on this whole right-wing backlash to the ad.
Yeah, and then I want to tell you where I come out on it. So they really don't like that they're making Jesus look progressive. But he is. As I explained in my book, Justice is Coming, we'll put the link down below. Jesus was pretty much a communist. If you're shocked by that, that means you haven't read the Bible at all. Jesus is so far to the left of me, it's not even close. One of our members just wrote in on YouTube, and Not Equipped wrote in, Jesus was the most woke. Yeah, not only did he wash the feet of the poor, prostitutes, immigrants, etc., he said, give away all of your worldly possessions and come follow me to help the poor and the needy, right? I wouldn't do that, okay? And giving away all of your worldly possessions is literally communist, okay?
You're such an idiot. God, you're an idiot. Giving away all your possessions? If it's of your free will, then you know what? Do what you want. Communism is not against your free, not with your free will. It is an order. It is a mandate. They take from you. Oh, Cenk, do we have to do, okay, Civics 101 with you? Really? Do we have to do ISMS 101 class with you? To actually say that, we got to go back and see, make that statement that you just said. Let's go back and just so everybody knows how stupid that statement was, let's hear it again. Okay, let's hear that again.
He said, give away all of your worldly possessions and come follow me to help the poor and the needy, right? I wouldn't do that, okay? And giving away all of your worldly possessions is literally communist, okay?
You hear it again the second time, it just sounds even stupider than it was the first time, which is hard to believe. But anyways, giving it away versus, taking it by force, it's so different. Jesus was a communist. You just wanted to be progressive because you guys are progressive. Oh my goodness gracious.
So you can't get any further left than Jesus. He threw out who? The money changers, the bankers. That was the very first thing he did, right? So the very last thing the right wing wants you to find out is who Jesus actually was. And so if you find out how progressive Jesus is, it ruins their whole scam. Their whole scam is, no, Jesus was super greedy and he loved prosperity preachers and tax cuts for the rich. And my God, did he love corporations. I mean, they're a joke, but they've tricked hundreds of millions of people into believing this madness. So they're saying to these guys who are right-wingers, guys, stop the ads. Stop the ads. You're gonna accidentally get people to find out Jesus is the biggest lefty in the history of the world, right? He makes Karl Marx blush for how left he is. So now back to what do I think? Look, Anna, we're in a tough spot, right? Because so the $50 million they spent is among the most they spent, this group did, to help this really right-wing legal organization do these terrible things. But tons of religious people are anti-choice and anti-gay. I don't know what to do with them. So I think those are awful positions, awful, and I fight against them daily. But they are religious positions, not of every religious person, not of every Christian person, of course, right? But of a significant chunk. So are we gonna say that all those people who believe that are fascists?
That's what you'll do.
I don't think so. I don't think that's a good idea.
Lying.
I think we have to somehow try to convince them, although we do have to fight them in the battlefield of ideas and in the arena, etc. So I think that getting people to see the real Jesus is more subversive and the better way to go than to just yell at him in this case. So overall, be careful with the group. And I gotta tell you the very important thing. Why are they doing these ads in the first place? And why do they keep saying he's for all of us? And they keep showing young people all over the ads, right?
Because they're trying to recruit young people
Bingo.
into their religious
What's wrong
organizations.
with
Okay,
that?
and
That's
the
what it
reason
is.
for that is because religiosity among the young is doing this in the graphs. Nosediving.
Wrong.
Among young people,
Wrong.
almost nobody believes in religion anymore. So much of the young have stopped believing in religion that in the 1990s, 90% of Americans believed in religion. Now it's down to 63%. And almost all the older people still believe in it.
I want to talk about this further in our members only bonus episode.
Stick around to the end. I'm going to show you that Pew Research Institute and give you some stats that will make you think and go, you know what? that premise that they're talking about, yes, the numbers, the percentages have come down. But when you take a look at some of the questions that were asked by Pew Research and you go into the detail, you'll go, you know what? It's not as bad as they say. They want you to believe that because they don't want people to believe in any religion at all. They want you to become agnostic. They want you to become atheist. They want you to become whatever it is, modernist. But if they can help prevent you from grabbing onto some type of religion, whether it's Christianity or Judaism or Hinduism or Islam or, any other, form of, religious belief, they can stop you from doing that, then they've won. Because then you're going to have to look somewhere else for guidance, for morality. And they want to be that people that give you guidance. They want to be the people that give you their kind of morality. Anyways, let's continue with this. Stick around. We'll get to that Pew Institute questionnaire and survey. We'll do that in the next few minutes.
Today, because for the longest time, I thought that was a good thing and only a good thing. But it's actually far more complicated than that. There are some pretty significant downsides to the lack of membership in religious organizations that I want to discuss in the bonus episode for our members. If you're not a member, you can become one by going to tyt.com/join, or if you're watching us on YouTube, you can become a member by clicking on that join button as well. I have some nuanced opinions on this. Some might be controversial, but I think it's important to talk about.
We're going to do that.
So anyways, let's get to controversial. Why don't you talk about them over here? I have the guts to talk them about here, but you want to go onto the members only platform. So you're preaching to the choir there, Ana. Why don't you come on here? And I keep telling you guys, you know what? It's amazing, isn't it? There's such a large organization and we're such a small one over here, but we completely counter everything so effectively that what these guys are saying and what they're doing and their false narratives every single time. And we're right, because guess what, folks? They haven't come back at all to refute one single thing that we're saying, because we are 1,000,000% right. Okay, so let's get to that Pew Research article, and we're going to get to that right now. All right, so here we are, folks. This is by the Pew Research Group. Look at this study, this questionnaire survey, Belief in God by Generation Group. And they talk about younger millennials, older millennials, Generation X, baby boomers, the silent generation, and the greatest generation. So they take it, these are generational cohorts. And the first thing, look at this, they were talking about younger people, right? So percentage of adults who say they believe in God, absolutely certain, absolutely certain. Younger millennials, that's 50%. 50%. Over 3,291 were the number of respondents. Belief in God, absolutely certain. Then 21% of those younger millennials say that believe in God, fairly certain. 71%. And you're telling me that religion is declining? I mean, listen, if I can get 7 out of 10 younger generation, and if you take a look at Generation X, it's 64% who believe in God, 20% are fairly certain. That's 84%. If I can get 70 to 80%, and then they got the older millennials, all right, they're in that same basic thing there. They're like 76%. And you're telling me maybe they're not going to church as much, maybe they're not doing whatever, but their belief in God is absolutely up there. So what they were saying is completely wrong. Let's go to something else here. How about importance of religion? Importance in religion in one's life. What do the younger millennials say? Well, nearly 40%, about 38%, say it's very important, and nearly 30% say that it is somewhat important. So now you've got basically what? Almost 70% again, which is in line with their belief in God. Say that, guess what? Is it importance of religion one's life by generational group? Absolutely. Generation X is almost at 75%. And of course, the baby boomers and the silent grace generation are going to be slightly higher. Now, here's one: attendance of religious services. At millennials, at least once a week. At least once a week, you got 28%, nearly 3 out of 10. At least once or twice a month, few times a year, you got 38%, 40. So you're looking at basically, again, almost what, 67, 68%? Again, nearing 70%, nearing 7 out of 10 are attending a religious service at least once or twice a month, or at least once a week. And you're saying that's the, yeah, of course, if you're going to say, well, it was 90% sometime before, now it's 70. I'll take those numbers anytime for any religious organization. I'm sure they would too. And this is from Pew Research, remember. Here's one: number of frequency of prayer, at least daily. 40% of millennials, at least daily, 40%. If you can get 4 out of 10 millennials to pray daily, you've done a phenomenal job. We can increase, those numbers will increase. And then it says at least weekly, 18%. So now you've got nearly 6 out of 10 that do it at least once a day or once a week. If you do that, that would, right? Up in the 70%, 7 out of 10, they're praying once a day or once a week. Folks, if you take a look at me, I completely think that refutes everything. Shaikh Cenk was saying a nosedive in religion or whatever. I don't know. So, I mean, you can just go through this survey yourself. You can look at it up online. And I just think, like I said here, it is, I don't think that's absolutely true, in my opinion. I really feel that I think in many cases among youngsters, it is rising. It is rising youngsters in the Jewish faith. It is rising in the youngsters in the Hindu faith. It is rising in the Christian faith. It is rising in the Islamic Muslim faith. It is rising in all sorts of religious, institutions across the board. I think there's a revival going across the world, even the United States here, obviously, of young people going back and finding their roots in whatever religion that they're looking at, whether it was the ones that through their parents and family or whatever, or finding something else on their own. These statistics from Pew, I think, bear that out. Anyways, we appreciate you taking the time to watch. You've been watching the Dr. Nasir Shaikh Show. I've been your guest host. My name is Dr. Nasir. We'd love you to subscribe to our channel, hit that notification bell, like, share, and follow us. Let us know in the comments below what you think. And I'll leave you with my final thought, which is, when you're right, you're right. And when you're left, you're wrong. We'll see you again next time, folks. Take care and stay safe.